Hello, Internet. My name's John Kulas. I am a 20-year professor of industrial and organizational psychology. I'm a 10-year user of R for statistical applications, traditional statistical analyses. And for the last 6 or 7 years, I've also been using R to author things like academic papers and slide presentations, technical reports, feedback reports. And so every week I get together with, it's mostly been Diego recently, but Diego and I at least hang out and we just make ourselves available to anyone out there who's also interested in using R to author things. So we thought there are a lot of great resources available on YouTube and elsewhere, but there's not a lot of interactive resources. And so we thought it'd be nice to just kind of make ourselves available if anyone wants to chat about running, if they have any questions, wonder how to get started, or you're stuck on something. Um, that's what we do every week at 7 o'clock Eastern is we just kind of pop in here and hang out. And if there's no question or project or task or obstacle from people who are currently watching the live stream, then we'll cover a focal topic. And so every week we've had a focal topic, and I think we'll keep doing that. It's been a good learning experience for me. It's forced me to learn some things about this authoring platform that I wasn't familiar with. And tonight, I think what we're going to do is tonight we're going to continue. If I can find my cursor, tonight we're going to continue on our kind of delving into interactive capabilities that aren't shiny. And so last week we had a little bit of a discussion about specifically the unique kind of flavor and feel of Shiny as a package and as a suite of products. Now, Shiny apps are fantastic and they offer a lot of user control, but there are some also there are other interactive options that we have using this authoring platform of R. Seems like a lot of them are some in some way, shape, or form driven by JavaScript. And so that's something that we may have to look into a little bit ourselves as well. I don't know if Diego is familiar with that language. I'm not really, but it seems like a lot of the interactive stuff that we've been looking into is our Markdown or Quarto specified ways of feeding into JavaScript. So anyway, tonight we're gonna revisit what we looked at last week, which was Plotly as a platform, and tonight we're gonna focus on a second interactive option, and that's these leaflet maps. And I've been using leaflet maps for a number of years. Last week we actually created a Plotly map, and so that was kind of fun. But so we'll be dealing with maps again here tonight. So let's do a quick transition here into our summary of what happened last week.
Well, our heroes are really closing in on the mooseberry bush, for they've hired a famous mountain climber, Sir Hilary Push-Him-Off, and his friend, the Indian guide, Princess Bubbles, to guide them up the Grimalaya Mountains. Little do they know, however, that the guides are really those two spies, Boris and Natasha.
Please, you're giving away the plot.
Well, Sir Hilary, here's where we're going, high on the slopes of Why Don't You Take a Peek?
Won't you take a peek?
I take it you know the name.
Know it. It is the most feared mountain in old Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but you're not scared, are you, Sir Hilary?
Of course not. Him always turn green this time of year.
If I could just have a breath fresh air.
Why, certainly.
And Boris left the room and quickly made his way to the underground headquarters of Central Control.
Something wrong, Medinov?
You see where I'm supposed to go?
Why don't you take a peek? Lovely vacation spot.
Why don't you take a peek? They were very creative with some of their naming conventions in those old Rocky and Bullwinkles. I will say that. One thing I noticed with the slide deck in particular when we're displaying some of these interactive plotting options, and I think we're probably going to have to spend one of these weeks really delving a lot more carefully and closely into HTML widgets and see if maybe we can exert some greater level of control over things like you're seeing me refresh this browser here. Things like just the size of the plot itself. And I'm not sure how much control we're going to be able to exert, but certainly refreshing does seem to have an effect here. I'm using Microsoft Edge as my browser right now. We should try this in some other browsers as well. Chrome and Mozilla would probably be good candidates. Let's get Diego in here.
Vamos a ver, ¿qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué es lo que sí, qué está pasando con los alcaldes?
Hey, hello.
Diego. Hey, Diego, um I forgot to tell you, but next week I have a conflict. So we could either start an hour early, or if you want to do another Diego session, that's fine as well. Everyone seemed to like your exploratory graph analysis. That was one of the most popular things that we've ever done on these weekly sessions. That that got the most views, I
Oh,
think, or
really?
it's up
We
there anyway.
should we should we should contact the creator, invite him. He's what was his name? Hudson um something. He's from I forgot the university, but I know that he has a background in from a university from Brazil.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's fine. We can if you want to do that. Or, so anyway, think about that. Think about whether you want to just take control of a session next week, and do
It's
whatever you want, or
Hudson Golino. He's the professor
Golino.
that
That
that created the package.
okay. I like that first name, Hudson. Sounds like I don't know. He should be a football player or something. Sounds rough, rough and
From the
tumble guy.
University of Virginia.
Oh, that's where he got his PhD.
That's where
Or
he's teaching right now.
that's where he's
His
at now. Okay.
PhD, he got his PhD from Universidade Federal de Minas Gerais.
Easy for you to say. Do you know any Portuguese?
I know Galician, which is very similar.
Okay. I think I told you this story, but we broke down in the mountainous areas of Catalan in Spain,
Catalonia?
a little Catalonia, yeah, and they they my broken Spanish, they we were having a difficult time communicating in that area because supposedly the people didn't really like speaking Spanish. They spoke the Catalan. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Anyway, that's what.
Catalan.
And then, so we did have someone who was a native. She was from Brazil. She was a native Portuguese speaker, but she, she like didn't want to try to help out at all. So I don't know.
Yes, we're in Galicia.
Yeah.
We speak Galician, but if someone speaks to you in Spanish, unless they're an idiot, they're gonna speak to you in Spanish.
Well, I wish you would have been there when we were stuck in the when our car broke down in the mountains. Um, so anyway, think about that. So I'll follow up with you and then see what you want to do. Uh, I can't move my my 7 o'clock conflict isn't movable. I tried to get it to move, but so we either move it up an hour or you just take over and do something. So last week what we did was we took a look at Plotly as our first kind of foray into interactivity that's not shiny. And so we looked at a few different things. And the both of these are scripts that are available predominantly online. You can also in the slide deck, if you just use the clipboard here, you can copy it. I just highlighted a couple things here in this code. The in Plotly, one of the things I like is the information you get upon hover. And so the text specification here is really easy. It says go ahead and paste a bunch of stuff together, and it's a mixture of a word that you choose and an object from the data frame itself. And so it also takes HTML like these open and close bracket brackets with a BR, that just means give me a hard break. So give me a line. And so if you look here, you see the country colon, and then it pulls in whatever country we have. So here's the United States. And then the break is saying, then I go to the next line. So life expectancy, GDP, and pop. So if we were to follow this around, you'd see life expectancy, GDP, and population there. And so the way to get a fairly complex graph like this is the scripting of it is pretty straightforward. And I love Plotly objects. I think they're actually fairly easy to work with, and they give you just really neat looking visuals just by default. This it looks like there's a little bit here in terms of the left hand window that it's how many lines is that? That's 34 lines of code. Some of it's not completely necessary, but 34 lines of code getting in the data and then creating this plot. But the actual specifications within the plot itself are fairly straightforward, and there's not a lot of complexity to it once you unpack it. And then Diego found, we're going to look at maps again this week, but Diego found, we'll see if we can get that one a little bigger. Diego found that Plotly also had maps, and so we're going to look at maps this week. But this is not something that I historically have used Plotly for. But again, you get that nice info upon hover. We can do, zooming. We can select some areas and give priority to or focus on as opposed to others. We can reset all of that back. And so the only bits of code that we highlighted here, and this is a much smaller layout in terms of the code itself. We have 20 lines here, and again, this is predominantly just taken from what other people have done online. So if we look at the thing that we were kind of playing with we spent the most time on last week was trying to get these bubbles to reflect some variable that was in the data set. And the data set was really small, so there weren't too many options there. We just took population, which is a numeric variable in that data object, and then the specification for that was it wanted a list. And I think the list was the main thing that we were missing, right, Diego? Am I remembering that right? When we were trying to figure out how to get the bubbles to reflect population. I don't know that we put it in a list. So I think that was kind of, that was one thing that we
Mm,
found out as we were just kind of live coding.
let's see if I still have it. Mm. Yeah, I think it
And
was.
then,
We just put it there, the population.
yeah, and then the other thing that we had to play around with a little bit was the scaling of the bubbles. And if you just asked for population, it would just be over plotted and would just all of these fuchsia circles on top of each other. We tried to get maybe a size that maybe made sense given the data object that we were looking at. When we divide by 60,000 here, that those little tiny cities do get, kind of, oops, I'm hitting the wrong button, do get a little difficult to see. Now, I think one of the things we'll play around with tonight, because tonight we're going to be looking at Leaflet maps, some more maps. But I know one of the things that I probably spent more time on than I should when I'm playing with these is the types of what do they call them? I think they call them layers, but the actual type of map that you're dealing with. So it doesn't have to be this satellite type thing. There's all kinds of different options. There's one that was discontinued that was just black and white, and I thought that was kind of a classy map. So it would get rid of the blues and the greens here. So last week we did take a look at Plotly. We are eventually, I think, going to look at probably at least these other three options. Tonight we'll spend on Leaflet. And I think what I'll do is I'll just continue to put on the slide deck some kind of neat looking. Every week I'll do different plots that we just grab from that other people have come up with. And again, the filterability on these Plotly, in this case violin plots, is just fantastic. found a different 3JS, and again, these 3JS plots, these are ones that seem to really be sensitive to kind of browser, and so you're going to want to potentially refresh the slide deck before you play around with this kind of trippy looking whatever this thing is, funnel, multicolored funnel, 3D plot of something. And then the DY graphs, I don't know, Diego, you can tell me whether you think this is going to be worthwhile to delve into these or not, or maybe we just find a different interactive package. Because these DY graphs, just even looking for examples from week to week, there doesn't tend to be a lot of these seem to be more single-minded in terms of their purpose. So these are plot time series data and probably trying to be as user-friendly as possible with that time series data. And so the actual plots themselves, we might still spend a week on it, I guess. But I'm just thinking that we're not spending a whole ton of. I got someone. No one ever comes and visits, but when we have these
Hmm?
sessions, I get weird visitors.
You got a
Um,
visitor?
yeah, so just right before I started, we had really bad storms last night, and so you made that sound like I'm a hermit on top of a mountain, Diego. Like I never got like like why would anyone come see me?
No, I just
Um,
should go. You should go say hello to him or open the door or something.
yeah, you're right. I did the previous guy, but this guy, she didn't. She didn't knock. I think she just put something in my mailbox.
Oh, it's one. I thought then it's not a visitor. It's just
No, it's not
mail.
a
The
true
mailman.
visitor. Yeah, no, I'm still lonely. No visitors. It's no, it's not a mailman. Some neighborhood something or other. I guess I'll find out tomorrow or tonight when I go look at my mailbox. Um, so there are other interactivity options. Again, beyond Shiny, we're considering Shiny to be its own little corner of the R internet or R world. Plotly is again very well developed, but Leaflet, I will just play around with these tonight. I found an extension that I hadn't found before, and that extension allows us to draw on this leaflet map. And so you can put shapes on here. I don't
Oh,
know
that's cool.
why. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. But you could also put markers, and the markers are nice. So if we, I don't know. Let's see where are you from, Diego? What's the name of that region you said?
It's Spain, Galicia. So up in the left corner. So in the west corner there, on top of Portugal.
On, okay, but where's your hometown?
Well, you have to zoom a lot, but it's where it says Santiago de Compostela. Um,
Yeah.
so you zoom even more, and it's in A Coruña, and then in a small town called Ribeira, which is on one of those, how you call it? It's not a cape. Well, I guess they're capes. They're big capes.
Have you been to this airport?
Yeah, yeah, many times.
We'll put a mark. We'll put a marker there, so we can go around the world and we come back to that airport. So that again, I this is just an add-on that I found for this week's slides that I hadn't come across before. But if we look at the code for that, we see it's just in a package called leaflet.extras. And all the complexity of that map, it just comes from these little 4 lines of code. So the leaflet maps in particular they're just a ton of fun to work with. So what do you think, Diego? Should we just make a few maps? Maybe make one, see if we can find your hometown.
Yeah, let's do that. Do you want
Okay.
me to share screen, or do you want to do it? Because I, I
It's
might,
up to
I
you.
might, I might have to leave earlier. So if we're gonna do it, we should do it now.
Okay. Well, it's up to you. Do you want to play with this a little bit before you
Sure.
go? Okay.
No,
So let me drop my screen, and then if you have to leave early, we'll just maybe do a little more leaflet wrangling. I do have. There's a on the second slide. I did make a hyperlink there for a page that I think is helpful. There's all kinds. Leaflet's pretty well developed package. So I'll put it in the private chat too, Diego, so it's easier for you to grab if you want, or you don't need to. You can just do what you're doing as well. But Leaflet is well established within R and other languages as well, and that's great. But that means that there's a lot of pages out there, which sounds great as well. But there was a weird period of time in my adoption of R where I would say the late or the mid 2000 teens, so 2013, 14, 15, the search, um, the utility of searching just on Google to help write R code kind of got turned on its head a little bit. I don't know what happened, but it like pre 2014, 15, just a normal Google search would give you all kinds of good bits that were helpful, and then they got a lot less. So it got harder to find, and so that's a rambling way of saying I think there's so much out there with Leaflet that there are
you
helpful
should. Did you
resources and then
try?
less helpful resources.
Did you try ChatGPT? That's the new
No,
Google.
I know you, and you're using that like to good effect. I haven't. I used it. I tried using it once. I don't remember what it was for, and it
And
didn't
you don't
didn't
even
really
need an
help.
account. You can just it's just on the just go to the website and you can use the 3.5 version, I think, or the 4. I don't know which one is now, but you don't need to create an account or anything. Just
Well, that's good to know. That's what I did. Yeah. And so, Diego, you'll be happy to see this. I think it looks to me. I'm just looking at this help page. It looks to me like tidyverse scripting is loaded into Leaflet, so you can pipe away to your heart's content here.
oh, so I don't need to load tidyverse. Okay.
I don't think so. I think it probably kind of looks like
Oh wow, went directly to Spain. How is that possible?
it knows who you are.
Yeah. How did it know?
Um, what's the what's the name of your city again? I'll try to look up the latitude and longitude so we can zoom in on it a little easier. What's the name of
Here it
it?
is. It's this one, Rivera. That's the little town
Ri-
I grew up in.
Ribiera is kind of how it's spelled.
Yeah. And I,
Is
I
there an
would go
I?
partying. I would go partying here. That was the party town.
All right. Well, we'll put a marker there.
Okay. Wait, where is it? Oh, where's the marker? Oh, did you leave? Oh, you froze. Oh, I wonder how to put it. Hmm. Just gonna run it again. No, I don't see it. Well, I guess it's yeah, markers. There we go. Have to add marker. Uh, oh, damn it. Here. Right, do I need to put the pipeline command? Yeah. There we go. Let's see now. Okay. How do we add the marker? Maybe I should read the documentation better. Um, uh, they even have the this one. This one's pretty cool. That's insane. Yes. It's just images, satellite images. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to create this one. I don't care. There. This one's just too cool. Damn it. And it goes so quickly. Just zoom in and there you got the image. It would take me. Hey, you're back.
Yeah, it's just. Ooh, look at that. You put a different
Yes,
layer on there. I love it.
yeah, satellite image, and it's so quick. Look, you just zoom in, and it immediately renders the satellite image.
Yeah, if it doesn't kick you off the internet, it does. That looks fantastic. You can almost see like sharks out there, sandy beaches.
Oh, but wait, I don't. This is just satellite. It doesn't tell you like the names of the towns. Uh, I'm sure there's a command for it. Uh, no, I don't see it. So to add the markers, um, no, did you leave again? Oh no, yep, he froze again. So let's see. To add markers, um, I think it's color. No, we're two down. Multiple markers from a data frame. So we have to create a data frame for the markers. Now that seems complicated. Mm, okay, let's just add multiple. Actually, yeah, we have to put the latitude and longitude. Let's hard code everything. Let's. Oh, what is this? Oh, okay. And I guess, I mean, how do we know the latitude and longitude? That's a big question. Uh, I'm not gonna just be guessing. Okay, let's just try to change numbers randomly and see what happens. Let's go with the simpler one because this one's too complicated. It's like I don't want to manage three at the same time. One is enough. So let's just put the one with one marker and change the latitude and longitude and see. Let's change this one to 2, for example, and what this one to 30. Okay, so right now it's in Madrid. Okay, now I don't know where it is. It left. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I guess latitude, it's like the real world latitude and longitude, of course. Mm, wait, can I move it? I haven't even tried just moving it around. No, I can't move it. Okay. Wait, you can add a single marker to by passing coordinates to the function of a single value or vector. Um, hey, you're back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It looks like it's gonna keep kicking me. I don't know what's going on here.
Maybe it's because I'm sharing the screen. And I'm trying to figure out how to get the latitude and longitude without having to Google it, like from the.
Uh, I thought I put it in the chat. I might be really choppy now too because I got. Sorry, I'm going off of a hotspot off of my phone. I don't know how long this is going to work. So you're at 42.55 and 8.99. Now sometimes you need to put a negative in there as well.
Oh, how do you
So
know? How do you know that's my coordinate?
as I just looked it up.
In Google?
Yeah, I just Googled Ribera. I think you pronounced it right. Oh,
Yeah.
Ribera, Spain, lat long.
Mm,
And yeah, so you should be able to just replace those 3.7 and 40.
we can go back. I don't know what I did here. So this one you said negative. What do you say? 9?
8.9922. You can get pretty specific with these 9922.
And then
And then
here,
42.5541. So for example, when I was first playing with these last week, I was able to zoom all the way in on the psych building at Montclair State.
that's cool. Let's now try it with the image, the one with the images, the satellite images.
Sure. Now, Diego, you can also play with the zoom in that code, and so that'll come in. You can zoom in so it's like right on that spot, or you can zoom in so it's like you can see all of Spain. Now, I think that number, let me see what that number goes up to. Our charts, spatial. Let's see if we can. Whoa, there's a lot of. Man, we gotta. Could be playing with this for a long time. I didn't realize that our charts, that site, had as many things in it as it actually does. Um,
Yeah, there we are.
Zoom, set view.
Let's see if we can see my house. I kind of forgot where my house was.
What?
I mean, because I don't know, it was actually around here, but it's hard to tell.
Um, min zoom. Well, if you set the zoom to 0, you're gonna see the whole globe. I'm trying to see how big you can get. So 0 is the smallest. 0 is going to show you a globe. Um, they're using a lot of GIS terminology here. You can actually. It looks like some of these have some interval to them. One of the things I was playing with Diego when I was first looking into leaflet maps is you can also superimpose pretty easily. You can superimpose um, the what would you call it? The like sunset line. So it shows you what parts are in dark and what parts are in light. Maybe while you try to find your house there, let me see if I can find that, and then we'll play with different layers too. And then whenever you have to go, Diego, just let me know.
Mm,
So there's something called Zoom Snap. Huh. I'm not seeing here what the max is, but the minimum looks like it's 0. Tiles, that's what I'm thinking. I wasn't thinking layers, I was thinking
Somebody's
tiles.
calling your name.
oh well, I have to go now.
Okay.
Is she
Uh
hi? Or it's YouTube?
Mm, well,
okay,
okay, yeah,
see you guys.
okay. I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay. See ya. Okay, so maybe what I'll do, as long as my internet holds out here. That's just what a bummer of no internet. That's no fun. It's also no fun to just do this by yourself. So I don't know if Diego, I don't know what he's gonna be thinking about for next week. Um, but it's a lot more fun to do this if there's someone else with you. So I just went to the site that's linked in the comments here, and it's rcharts.com, spatial interactive maps leaflet. And then it's a good reference for all kinds of different ideas. I don't know why they want me to watch Planet of the Apes. It looks like there's a lot of ads. So I do like that site. I think it's got some great stuff on it, but it also looks like it has a lot of ads on it. So we'll just open up a fresh R session here since I had to reboot my whole computer. I lost my slides and stuff I had access to. But we'll restart R here, and you can see that my R is exceedingly slow. And we'll just do a new Quarto document. It's got to be HTML or it's got to be some form of HTML, either just a raw document or a presentation or a dashboard or something that permits this kind of interactivity. I always render first. First of all, just to name it and place it somewhere. I think I've been using this testing. QMD is the kind of right over it and don't worry about it file. We'll make sure that that looks like it renders, and it does. I must have my Zoom really booked up here on Edge. I think the only time I ever use Microsoft Edge is for this kind of stuff, for looking at these documents. And then I already copied the code from the leaflet map. We're just going to take a look at it. What I'm interested in is the provider tiles. And this is, they do have some neat built-in tiles. I mentioned a black and white one that they discontinued. This one also looks black and white. See if it renders. There it is. We'll suppress those messages here, so we don't need that. Message false, echo false. And then warning is the one that we always used to just kind of globally set as false. When we were using our markdown, we wouldn't do each chunk like this. We would just set global options, and you could do that in Quarto as well, but probably don't need to. So this description obviously doesn't fit what we're doing here. That's just the template description for a Quarto HTML document. This one looks like it's centered on Berlin. I wasn't really too concerned about the geography here. I was curious about just the layout of it and this kind of grayed out, washed out kind of looking map. Looks fine. One of the things that I've seen evolve over the course of years with leaflet maps is by default the specification, the language specified for geographic areas used to be English universally in what I was grabbing, and now by default they are rendering the geographic names in the native language. So this is Polish. And then if we go into, France or Spain, we're going to see French and Spanish descriptions of areas is where you see them. The cities, of course, Paris is Paris, but the regions, you can see regional descriptions is where you're probably going to see most of that language flavor. So let me see what other kinds of, I guess they call them tiles, that we can specify here. And I'm going to just do a search for add provider tiles, leaflet. And we're going to see what other kinds of tiles we have. Now we may need a plugin. I might already have that plugin, so my computer might be operating differently. Let's do a search for this function and see if it comes from Leaflet or if it's a different package itself. And so it should be in this R documentation. It is in Leaflet. Okay. So as long as you have Leaflet, you should be okay with that add provider tiles. Here's one that looks a lot more colorful, Nat Geo world map. And we can literally just swap the line 21 here providers, and we should get a second map. Maybe what I will do, let's do multiple maps, huh? And then we can see what those look like. And we could set them side by side, or we could just stack them. I think we'll just stack them so we don't spend a lot of time in messing with layouts. Tonight's little walkthrough wasn't intended to focus on layouts. It was intended to focus on maps. So we'll see if we can spend most of our remaining time, as long as my phone holds out here, just looking at different types of maps. So there's Berlin. Ooh, okay. I was noticing this on some previous playings with Leaflet as well, that some of these provider tiles may not be detailed enough for you to zoom in far. So we would want to, if we were to use this, we would want to pull back on that zoom a little bit. So right now it's sitting at 14. I mean, if we set it at 10 instead of 14, that should come in not as focused on that area. And so we should actually get, by default, we should get an image, which we do. So you may have to play a little bit with that if you're using these maps. It's pretty. I mean, there's some mountains identified there. I like the color coding for the airports. This information pops a lot better. And so we can put them side by side here and just do a 10 and a 10. And the comparisons might be a little easier. And markers are fairly easy. Again, if you want markers to interact with, it seems like Plotly might be a better option there. If you just want a very sparsely coded in terms of scripting, nice map, I think Leaflet is probably the way to go. So yeah, you're seeing it's a lot easier to see some information here. If you were interested in traveling around this area, this second map is probably one that's going to be a little more useful. You can see what I assume are roads or railways. Maybe those are, I don't know, it's Germany. Maybe that's the, whatchamacallit. The thing where you can go a million miles an hour. Autobahn. Maybe those are autobahns. It says A, so I don't know anything about this area of Germany. I've never been there. But maybe those are Autobahn roads. This one, oh, there's my Stamen toner. So the black and white one that I was mentioning is actually this one. And my recollection was that this is discontinued or was not going to be supported any longer, but we'll try it and see. Maybe I can go back to it. So if they still, this might be an old site that we're actually pulling from. And then because we're having internet issues, I think we might, well, next week will be up to Diego, but I'm wondering if maybe we should have a deeper dive into maps I guess if anyone out there happens upon this and you have any ideas, just drop a comment maybe and let us know if you'd like a more stable representation and covering of leaflet maps in particular. I think the other thing that we'll do, because there are so many just map options, we came into last week and this week now thinking of just exploring some interactivity that we can incorporate into our documents that's not shiny, that's not derivative or based on that shiny platform. And we just kind of, by interest, I guess, stumbled into Plotly's mapping options last week. And Leaflet is going to be focused on maps because that's what it does. But there are other mapping options as well. I'm wondering if maybe we just cover Leaflet lightly as we're talking about interactivity, but then we'll have maybe another session in a month or so or some point in the future where we take another deeper dive at maps specifically. And so if we just look at maps, we can be a little looser with specific packages, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. I don't know if it makes sense in anyone else's. So this one, again, has a little different detail on it. This one, you can see kind of the layout of the land a little better, I think, in terms of just natural resources here or natural formations. I definitely the water pops more to me, and there's even, I think, the descriptions look like they might be a little it might be a little more descriptive in terms of the descriptions themselves. You're seeing when you're seeing that late that late blurring into clarity. That's not Leaflet. That's me. That's my internet issues. So again, I'm trying to limp to the finish lines here just on my phone. And I don't know. They're probably going to be sending me a big bill here because of that. But we see three different, very different flavored maps here, and that are easily specified just with that add provider tiles function that now does come built into Leaflet if you have a recent Leaflet installation. I've done this. I've There are opportunities to just go to the internet and take current weather conditions as well, and that layers on very nicely and very simply. On my own personal website, I think I still have that. Because I'm a mushroom hunter, and Alicia, my friend, might be watching. She's a mushroom hunter too. But the weather, the weather apps that I have on my phone are just so packed with spam and ads that I kind of like just having a quick visual for, does it look like it's raining there or not? And so on my own personal website, I actually did that. And I just pulled one of these layers from the National Weather Service. And this is, again, I'm having lots of delays here. This one might be, as I mentioned earlier, that was kind of my favorite tile, was this stamen toner. And my recollection was that that was discontinued at some point in time. So I don't know. It says Leaflet 2.2.9. We can try to see here if it's been updated. Looks like, yeah, it looks like it's fairly recent, at least within 2024. But it looks like that preferred layer that I like maybe isn't being supported currently. Okay, I think because of the internet issues, sorry, but I think we'll just call this early tonight. And then next week we will, again, I lost my slide deck. I guess I can pull it up online here. So let me see if I can go to the slides that I put a link to. And it's going to take forever to load. This is a much larger slide deck in terms of file size than we're used to dealing with. But next week, I think what we'll do is we'll probably take a deep dive into this 3GJS if we do meet early. So again, I have a conflict. If we do meet early, we'll take a look at 3JS. If we don't meet early and Diego runs the show, then I'm not sure what he's going to do. He'll probably do something analytical, which I think people enjoy. Okay, so sorry about all of the issues tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.